All right, guys, welcome back. This is Ron and Val, and we are here for a new podcast. So Ron and I are going to get started. We are so excited to share so much with you guys. I want to do a shameless plug real quick. Don't forget to drop a comment down below. Don't forget to drop a comment down below, or go to Ron's website, Tarot with Telic, and sign up to get our free ebook. It's a journal talking about all the letters. Also, we will be in person live in Tinley Park the weekend of June 1st. I will drop down any additional information in the description box, but we're going to get started.
All right, thanks, Val. Yeah, it's great to get back. I know we've had a little bit of a lapse, but I think we both needed a little bit of a break. And
What are we talking about today, Ron?
well, I think the last time we kind of left off where Christ was talking about faith, and talking about the parable where if you have the faith of a mustard seed, he says that's behooty, and how he said it needs to grow. That's the point he was trying to make.
Okay.
And kind of to build on that theme too, the next section he's going into here, he's saying there's a lot of people out there who he doesn't say Christians by name, but that's basically what he's saying with it. Say, hey, Jesus is a great guy. He's my dude. I follow him. I believe in him. Blah blah blah. But you know what? Some of the stuff that he did, I can't get into that. How did he walk on water? How did he make feed thousands of people with a basket of fish and loaves?
Right, right.
And he's going into that now and talking about it. He said, "Yeah, folks."
So if there's no video of it, it never really happened. So you saying that they don't have faith to believe this, or they're just in doubt?
Oh, I have run into people myself who have said the same thing that, well, he's a great guy, but this couldn't have happened or that couldn't have happened. There's just no way because they're of the physical realm here that, we're
Right,
the
right.
world we're in. Dan, he says, no, guys, it's real. It's really real. To your point about the movie, well, if you don't see it, it's not true, right?
Right, right.
Yeah,
We
well,
live in the world of video. So these 20-year-olds right now, these high schoolers, they were born with video, right? That's
mhm.
all they know. If they didn't record it, it actually didn't happen. And then Ron, to add on to that, right? I know you heard about, is it Sora, the new AI where I type in a prompt and it creates a video just from a prompt, you know.
Yes, yeah.
This is the world we live in. How can I convince someone, or how can I convey to someone that Jesus is real? What happened is real, you know.
So, anyway, he's saying just because you didn't see it doesn't mean it didn't happen. Let no one dare to deny the truth that he speaks until that whoever the doubter is, has walked the path of self-renunciation, which he walked on earth. And you need to get to the same union with, he's air quotes, the Father. The
Okay.
all there is the God force that's all around us and all in us, right?
Right.
And achieve the heights of inconvertible knowledge and understanding that he possessed. When you have achieved all this, then you'll no longer have the desire to deny the truth, and you will realize it is true. He
Hmm.
says, he's speaking to us, but we're unable to restrain ourselves from joining him, Jesus Christ, in the teaching of the fellow man. Until that time, hold your peace and don't let anybody know your ignorance until you've achieved that same level as he did. And we all can do it because he said before he came and was a human being, he was not God. That until we achieve that level, we'll no longer have any desire to deny the truth and that he's speaking. But we will be unable to restrain ourselves from joining him in teaching, reach the level that he was there. Don't say it can't happen. That's
Gotcha.
in plain language what it is.
Right. Don't
Just if you haven't seen it, don't
exactly.
not believe it. This is true.
I kind of think about, I was just talking to a younger person in the car ride, and we were talking about 9/11, right? And they were saying, and they were sixth grade, maybe fifth, sixth or seventh, junior high level. And they said, they talk about 9/11 in school. That did that really happen? And unfortunately, I'm old enough to have lived through that, right? And I said, I go, I'm serious. It really happened. I literally can sit back and visualize where I was at, what I was doing when all of this was happening. On that day, people, in different states that were not in New York or Washington or different places were at work, and we were reliving this. We were watching it on TV. It was so realistic that even we were saying, "Oh my gosh," you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But to a young person or someone, that watches our video a year from now, is this real? Did it really happen? It did really happen, and just because I wasn't there to touch it, which is what, Ron, I think you're trying to say, faith is a word. Faith is a belief. You may not be able to touch it, you may not be able to see it, but the idea that I believe in God, I believe in air, I believe in energy, it's a whole nother level than me just actually watching on the video saying, "Oh, that really did happen." I hope that makes sense.
Well, it did. And, because we were talking a little bit before about AI, and you can create anything with AI, right?
Yeah,
Now,
exactly. Right.
whether
Nowadays.
how does this maybe, but they didn't have AI back then, at least not to the point they do now.
Hmm.
Uh, and also, I mean, something else Christ pointed out is people, in another part of his writings, he said, some people believe they're flat Earth. What gives here? Come on. How much stuff is there to deny? Um, it, I don't want to get political, but it's almost, people who deny, did the Holocaust happen? Did this happen? Yeah,
Exactly.
these all happened. There were some real atrocities that happened. And I don't want to get off the path, but just know that these things did happen. The miracles that Christ did perform are true, and it can be achieved if we get to that level. We'll talk a little bit more about that here in his description as he goes along.
Hmm.
We'll call it the Sunday Christian or the Sunday whatever, fill in the blank. Somebody goes to church and you're holy and pious and paying attention maybe when you're in the service of whatever religion you're with. And then when you're out in the street, it's a whole different ballgame. So how often through the world people gladly embrace Christ's teachings as being highly moralistic and perfectly formulated guidelines for good behavior and daily living, right?
Hmm.
But they add quickly that stories of miracles should be discounted because of such aberrations of natural laws were not possible, which is what we were just leading into there.
Hmm.
And I think that's very true. A lot of people think, yeah, but nah,
Mm.
this had to be something made up along the way, right? To convince us it couldn't be true.
Ron, do you think though it's easier to not believe and wait to be proven, with the video, with with something else? Like, it's just easier for me to say, nah, you know, stars don't fall out of the sky until I actually see it. Staying in denial or keeping myself safe, keeping myself, in this box, right? Because then if I go out of the box, I'm forced to acknowledge, I'm forced to face, I'm forced to look at myself in the mirror and say, okay, all these blessings, all these different trials and tribulations that I've overcome, um, if I have faith, then I gotta believe, I gotta face, I gotta own it. But if I stay in denial, if I stay behind the corner, if I stay in that little realm of maybe it could, maybe it can't, I'm safe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not really going against God, or I'm not saying I don't believe. I'm just saying I'll wait till I see it to believe it. And I think a lot of people in today's society, rat that thin line, that fence where I can jump either way, and like you said, not to be political, but it carries over into political, it carries over to your workforce. Eventually, either you get to where God needs you to be to truly understand, you'll stay in that stuck position of I'll believe it when I see it. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, you know, and we all probably know people like that.
You're saying it succinctly. Yes, that's exactly right. Uh, and it's not really today's world either. It happened back then when he walked the earth.
Mm-hmm.
How many people, oh, save me, cure me, cure me. and then they turn around and go back to their old ways again. How many people followed him to the foot of the cross where he was killed that were true believers and then carried on? You know,
Hmm.
the apparently the apostles and maybe a few other followers, but it was a pretty small group, and he affected a lot of people while he was on earth.
Wow.
But all went away.
I like to share different stories because I feel like I want to resonate with our audience from any walk of life, right? I have a cousin, and I won't say her name because one day I think she may watch this, but she has a PhD, highly educated young lady, but she has a drinking problem. And when she is sober, she is truly in faith. She is truly in acceptance. But when she's not sober, when she's filled with the spirits, or when she's a little, fluffy or happy, everything goes out of the window, right, Ron? You
Mhm.
know, there's a just reason for everything, there's an excuse for everything, and this highly educated woman, we were on the couch talking to a young girl that works at Home Depot, and this is her first job in her life. And she was complaining that she works the front desk. She's been there over 2 years. She graduated to the front desk, but they leave her there by herself. And when people come in for returns or exchanges, they're always not the nicest people. And she's a young girl, so she doesn't always know how to deal with it. And she's like, I hate that they leave me by myself. My manager should be there.
Mhm.
So then this cousin who's a little intoxicated, PhD, this Friday night, she was like, well, you have the ability. It's work at will in Illinois. You can walk off that job and you can do. And she went to a whole heightened, situation. Come back Saturday morning. She's sober. She's fine. Maybe hangover, but she's sober, right? And she says, and we're still, it's breakfast time. We're talking about it. And the young lady was like, I'm so glad I'm off work and this and that. That's kind of how we got to the work conversation. And she says, honestly, it's your responsibility to bring that to the attention of your manager. Totally different conversation. Now she's
Wow.
back in acceptance. Now she's owning her stuff, right? And I just sat there in unbelief, like, is this what America is doing? We're finding the easy way out. Not being responsible for anything. It's so quick to say, I didn't see it, I don't believe it. Or you can sit still in that moment and say, all right, wait a second, wait a second. If this happened for them back then, if God brought that to them, or if God made this possible for them, he can make it possible for me too.
Mhm.
And it's really that easy, you know?
Yep, definitely. And I guess, this whole letter, where did we start off with this? It was talking about Christ when he was in the desert and how he went out there and was able to transcend himself and ascend his mind to the point where he could see the shape of the atoms, electrons,
Mm-hmm.
all that were forming all these different things in front of him. Okay, so here he's just two-sided. It's We're talking about faith in a universal God that's in and everything, and we're also talking about a physical world and how it comes together, right?
Right, right.
And his point here, he's saying, this thought when people don't get it, uh,
Mm-hmm.
it's building barriers to future progress between spiritual and scientific developments of the human mind. He's saying, look, you have the science here to prove this stuff. Here's
Right.
how it works. Put it together. Don't be on one side or the other. It's it's the same thing. It's all in one.
Oh, I totally agree. I totally agree. So,
Yeah, try to break out of this world, and especially, I guess, think the younger people who are much more heavily dependent on what they see or experience through
yes.
computer or artificial intelligence in whatever format that comes.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the TikTok things, things that are mocked up for some of the ridiculous things, the challenges or whatever. Ground yourself, get back together.
Yes, yes.
You know, the world is real. However, it also is an illusion and it's tied together with the all there is. And it brings it together for us. And we need to move forward.
Oh, I love that, Ron. I love that. So again, Thank you guys for watching this video. We are so excited. We're passionate about this. Hit like, subscribe, comment, do all those fancy things. I'll drop as much information as I possibly can in the description box. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to go to go by tarotwithtelic.com. You can find Ron online on any social platform as possible. Introduce yourself. Let's have the conversation. Let's get to know each other. Actually, Ron, before this, was working on the newsletter. If you want to stay updated, if you just want more information, the information is available to everybody. And we're just, a conduit to share it with you. We're here to pass the information as we go. So thank you again for watching. And I'll let Ron say goodbye.
All right. Thanks, everyone. And as we're moving into Lent, we're going to have some really cool topics that kind of go against what most of the traditional Christian teachings do through Lent. So we'll continue that conversation, and maybe it'll help open up your eyes a little bit. Thank you.